नमस्कार। गुड
हेलो,
मर्निङ।
गुड मर्निङ।
गुड
गुड
मर्निङ।
मर्निङ। गुड मर्निङ। मेरो आज इन्टरनेट दुःख दिइरहेछ। बिहान
त्यही त यहाँ हामी वेट गरिरहेको मात्रै।
यो लिङ्क पनि पहिलाको चाहिँ जहाँबाट क्लिक गर्थ्यो त्यो लिङ्कै सेप्टेम्बर 17 मात्रै क्रिएट गर्नुभएको रहेछ। त्यही भएर त्यो पहिलाको मिटिङ चाहिँ अब नयाँ क्रिएट गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ। मैले त्यो पनि याद गर्न चाहिँ राम्ररी त्यो मेरो मिस्टेक हो त्यो। अब यसो त्यसलाई फेरि मिटिङ अर्को क्रिएट गरेर नत्र यही मिटिङ लिङ्कै युज गरे पनि हुन्छ। फेरि दुईवटा लिङ्क के पठाउनु होइन, त्यही गर्नु। अहिले चाहिँ आज इन्टरनेट अलिक दुःख दिइरहेछ मेरो। आज सुनिरहनु भएको मैले बोले
एकछिन टाइम लाग्ने भयो।
ए मेरो इन्टरनेट इज नट स्टेबल भन्छ। आज अलिक इन्टरनेटले दुःख दिएर जस्तो छ। त्योभन्दा अगाडि
अरू पनि जोइन हुनुभएको छैन कि
खै उहाँहरू खै कहाँ जानुभयो। म त्यही हराइरहनु, त्यही लिङ्क आउँदैन हुन्छ। अलिक आज अलिक दुःख दिइरहेछ मेरो।
नमस्कार हजुर, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार। सन्चै हुनुहुन्छ?
नमस्कार पङ्कजी।
अलिक ढिलो हुने भयो। इनकेस चाहियो भने इनकेस
अझ
कता
बढी।
दिइरहेछ?
ए हजुर
हजुर
नमस्कार सर। मेरो आज इन्टरनेट अलिक दुःख दिइरहेछ है। मैले त्यही भएर अहिले यहाँ यताउति भयो भने हेर्दै गर्नुहोस् है।
ए ठिक छ।
मैले कहाँबाट सुरु गरौँ भनेर सोचिरहेको छु है। हजुर पछि आउँदै होस् न, एडमिट गरौँ म पनि इनकेस। अनि नेत्रजी हजुरले अब लास्ट विक त क्लास छुट्नुभयो। सेलेनियम सेटअप त हजुरको सक्यो?
मेरो अस्ति म एकदम उठ्न मलाई बिरामी जस्तो भयो। त्यो दिन चाहिँ म गर्न सकिनँ, एटेन्ड गर्न होइन।
हजुर
अनि हजुर अब यो के भन्छ अरे उसमा जानु अहिले जे जे छ त्यसरी नै सिधै गन्छ त्यो टाइममा त्यसलाई चाहिँ डाउनलोड चाहिँ
सेट हजुरको सेलेनियम सेटअप हो? मैले त
घरि यो मिल्दैन, घर त मिल्दैन, घरि यो भर्दा नमिल्ने, त्यो भर्दा नमिल्ने पुरै।
हजुर
हजुर
के
अस्ति चाहिँ पुरै हो टाइम लाग्यो कि अब छिटै कति टाइम लाग्थ्यो अस्ति गर्दाखेरि दोस्रो दिन?
सेलेनियम सेटअप हजुरको कहाँसम्म पुगेको थियो? मैले त अब त्यो भिडियो त मैले अपलोड गरेको छैन।
यसो
म
गर्नुहोस् त्यसलाई चाहिँ त्यसको लागि नभुलौँ हजुर, त्यो क्लासमै हजुर गर्नु अनि म त्यसलाई हेर्छु र अनि
हजुर
त्यहाँबाट म यहाँ चाहिँ साथीहरूको हेल्प लिएर म सेटअप गर्छु।
नत्र आज मेरो इन्टरनेट अलिक दुःख दिइरहेछ। नत्र भोलि एकछिन 5-10 मिनट 10 मिनट जति एक्स्ट्रा बसौँला।
हुन्छ, त्यो गरौँ न,
म
म पनि
हजुरको
सक्छु।
10 मिनट जति एक्स्ट्रा बसेर भोलि गरौँला नि।
हुन्छ हुन्छ, म आज जे छ त्यो म हेरेर अनि उ गर्छु होइन,
हस्
त्यसलाई हेर्दै बस्छु।
हस् हस् त्यो गरे
पुरै
पनि हुन्छ।
काम गरौँ। त्यो
हस्
फेरि किनभने अब भुल्न लाग्यो भने त्यसमै टाइम जान्छ अनि फेरि
हजुर हजुर
आजको क्लास पनि फेरि त्यसलाई चाहिँ हर्ट हुन्छ नि त, त्यही भएर।
हस् आज हस् आज आइफोन लिङ्क भन्ने को आउनुभयो आइफोनबाट? आइफोन लिङ्क भन्ने आएको छ नयाँ।
खै
को हुनुहुन्छ आइफोन लिङ्कमा? नाम आएन नि त। राजी कता जानु राजी कहिले आउनु त फोनबाट फेरि देखाउँदैन के भएर त्यसो भए ठिकै छ अब म सेयर गर्छु आज नजर म यो लिङ्क सेयर गरिहाल्छु होइन इनकेस अब आजको काम के गर्ने भन्ने कुरामा अब हामीले अब सेलेनियम सेटअप सक्यौँ होइन अनि अब यहाँबाट जाँदाखेरि अब बेसिक फेरि अहिले जाला फेरि लोड पनि गर्न मन लाग्दैन केही पनि अहिले त ल ठिकै छ लोड भइहाल्यो अब हामीले यहाँसम्म सक्यौँ इन्ट्रोडक्सन चाहिँ सेटअप सेलेनियम गऱ्यौँ अब क्विज चाहिँ अब पछि गरौँला अब यहाँ पढ्न चाहिँ मैले त्यहाँ दुईवटा टपिकहरू राखेको थिएँ इन्टरफेस भन्ने होइन कसले पढ्नुभयो इन्टरफेसको बारेमा
मैले त यस्तो धेरै होइन
हजुर हजुर
त्यही W3 स्कुलमा गएर
हजुर त्यो अब अनि त्यस्तो कतिको हेल्प भयो हजुरलाई त इन्टरफेस कति के बुझ्नुभयो त
त्यो
अब
भयो अनि मैले इन्टरफेस चाहिँ त्यो अब आउटलाइन रहेछ होइन अनि त्यो चाहिँ पछि चाहिँ इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ त्यसमा भएको मेथडहरू उसमा गएर क्लासमा
हजुर हजुर त्यो चाहिँ खाली मेथड मात्रै हुन्छ
सबै सबै मेथडहरू हजुर
हजुर
विदाउट बडी
हजुर
मैले चाहिँ बुझेको त्यही हो
हजुर हजुर त्यही नै हो
अनि इक्जाम्पलहरू त युट्युबमा अलिअलि हेरेको थिएँ मैले आफैले ट्राई गर्नुपर्छ त्यो इक्जाम्पलहरू यताउता
ए हजुर अब कसले ट्राई गर्नुभयो किनकि इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ क्या यो सोध्ने क्वेसन पनि हो एकदम त्यो इम्पोर्टेन्ट टपिक हो कसले हेर्नुभयो त इन्टरफेसको बारेमा अहिले आज केही गरी इन्टरनेट डाउन के भयो भने सबैलाई म यो इन्टरफेस मैले त टपिक पढ्छु आजको क्लासै यसकै बारेमा फर्स्ट हाफ चाहिँ यसै बारेमा कुरा गरिन्छ है लिङ्क इनकेस अब तपाईँहरूले हुनु त त्यहाँबाट पनि छेउ कसरी पढ्नु होइन होइन मैले हालिदिन्छु लिङ्क यहाँ इन्टरफेसको बारेमा पढ्नु भने किन इन्टरफेसको बारेमा पढ्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि अब हामीले यहाँ अटोमेसन त गऱ्यौँ अटोमेसनमा सुरुको लाइन कोड यो लेख्यौँ यो के लेख्नु त यो कोड भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ सोध्न सक्छ यो बुझ्नुपर्छ क्या सुरुमा इम्पोर्टेन्ट मलाई चाहिँ यो इम्पोर्टेन्ट लाग्छ धेरै मान्छेलाई अब इन्टरभ्यूमा क्वेसन सोध्यो यो कोर्सको बारेमा पनि बुझेकै हुँदैन क्या मान्छेले यो के गरेको त वेब ड्राइभर कस्तो न्यू क्रोम ड्राइभर किन लेखेको भन्ने कुरा आउँछ क्या के गर्छ यसले भन्ने कुरा आउँदो रहेछ कि अनि त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामीले पढ्ने भनेको किनकि वेब ड्राइभर भनेको के हो भनेर जाभामा बुझ्नुभयो भने यो सबै त जाभा कोडिङ हो Okay, sorry, I need to speak in English. Sorry for that. So when you write the first line of command, this web driver equals new Chrome driver, you need to understand what you're writing here. What does this line of code mean? So does that mean that web driver equals new Chrome driver? What I'm doing here? So in order to understand that, we need to understand the interface concept and interface implementation. So other than Sushmita, who else went over the concept of interface? No one? This is really important topic.
Interface is just like an instruction, right? You have the instruction there and you implement it.
It's kind of empty
like
method.
An outline, you can outline.
It is the way of the, I'll tell the main reason behind it.
Okay.
And how many of anyone went over the interface? Nobody read over the interface. This is really important. I can't explain everything. So did anyone went over other than Sushmita go over the interface? Or they already know about it. Sometimes I don't have to explain everything, right? You can know about the interface. Does anyone know about interface? No? Oh my God. This is really important. Please. Interface is really important for Selenium. The reason, please go over this. Interfaces, we talked about abstraction, right? And another way to achieve abstraction in Java is with interface. What is interface? So an interface is completely abstract class that is used to group related methods with empty bodies. So you remember we created methods, right? In the methods, when we create, we have parameters, we have body, and we have method body. Method body means whatever we had inside the flower bracket. That's a method body. So if in interface, we don't have the method body, we only have the method name, like this one. For example, this, let me do one thing. I think this is really important, but I don't know if I want to do that. Let me do that. It's okay. I don't know why you should always learn about it. New project, Java project. Please, whenever the okay. So I'm gonna go a little bit about the interface today. New package. Learn. I should do dots, dot, enter, space,
सिकेटी भयो सिटीकै गर्नु
is नाम तर स्टाइलमा गरेको त्यो प्याकेजिङ अब यहाँ हेर्नुभयो यहाँ त हजुरले जहिले पनि यहाँ क्रिएट गर्दाखेरि हामीले जहिले क्लास क्रिएट गर्थ्यौँ यहाँ अब यहाँ देख्नु इन्टरफेस भन्ने यो आई भनेको चाहिँ इन्टरफेस हो यहाँ इन्टरफेस पनि क्रिएट गर्न सकिन्छ हैन यो इन्टरफेस चाहिँ अब यसरी अब इनमहरू पनि छ यो अब आफै पढ्नुहुन्छ भने पढ्दा हुन्छ इनमको बारेमा पनि इनम पनि इम्पोर्टेन्टै हो एउटा अब यसको लागि चाहिँ सेल्फ स्टडी है इनम चाहिँ मैले अहिले भने an interface. Let's click on the interface. Instead of class, let's give the interface. We'll use exactly the same this W3C school goes so that it's easier for all of you guys to understand this. Finish. So if you look at here, you will see that I created an interface animal and there is an empty method. Look at this method. I'm gonna copy this to, I'm gonna do exactly the same. What is in the example W3C. So this is one of the example. If you look at this video, what I'm doing, you can also do the same for any of the W3C school also. How do you want to practice from anything from W3C school? Take this as an example. So I have an interface animal, and then I created an empty body. So this is an empty body within an interface animal. So I don't have a method. Usually if I create a method, you'll see the bracket, main, or nothing here. Interface has only the empty body. Okay, and let's go now. I'm going to do the same example. To access the interface, methods and interface must be implemented. So there is a if we create an interface, there is for us to inherit the or not kind of inherit, it says kind like inheritance. Now subclasses means class under a class is inherited, that means inherits, but for an interface you have to implement it. So what is it? To access the interface method, an interface must be implemented by another class with the implements keyword. So remember this. Extends is for the subclass. Okay, that is another thing. If you want to learn and look into it, you can learn about it. But you have to learn about it in the future. But if you look at the implements, is the keyword you need to use in order to inherit it or implement this interface. The body of the interface method is provided by the implement class. So let's do one. If you look at an example, okay, and you will see here there is an example. If you look at this class pig implements animal, let's create a class pig now. So we create an interface. Now under the same package, I'm going to create a new class called pig. Okay, under the pig class, what happens is I'm going to say implements animal. Animal, yeah. Now I just saved it. As soon as I save this, you'll see that there is an error here, right? This is an error. Now I'll mouse over it, and what it says, since I use the implements key and the interface, it is saying that add unimplemented method. This is one thing that you need to know about is anytime we use a implement animal interface, we have to implement this method. Means we created an empty method right here. We need to create a body inside this animal. So if you look at here, that's what it has done, right? Let me copy this too. Just what I copied from the W. So this is a practice for us, okay? You can do on your own. I think I'm just gonna copy this line only then. Let's see. Instead of doing everything. So animal sound, I'm gonna make this way. Body animal sound is provided here. Animal, I don't think it says the, okay, my bad. Let me see. See, and I'm gonna put it here. Probably. So I created an interface animal, which is implemented by class pig. So, and the syntax for using an interface is public class pig implements animal. And that way what happened is, if you look at this, I don't think I need to use the override keyword. I'll just remove this. Okay. So now if you see this, I created a pig and implemented animal class, and I have this body inside it. Now I'll do is, I'll create another class. Another class which I would say dog. Finish. I'm gonna say dog implements animal. Okay, as soon as I do add this implements an animal interface, I implement the animal interface, I'll get an error here. So I have to put this again, add unimplemented. Basically, all the methods, that's empty methods we created in interface has to be implemented. So animal. Now I'm gonna say what the peak said. Let me do the same thing. Oh, system.out. Okay. Let me use the same code, but a little bit different. Animal sound. The dog says, oof, oof, this is the dog sound. Now let me copy the same thing for the pig also. The same line. When this run, how does the pig run? I don't know. Run means animal sound, and when dog run, they make the sound of.
I don't know.
Or I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying it. So just an example. Okay, this reason. So now, if you see that I have an animal interface, let's do the summary again. I have empty methods created inside it. Is implemented by pig class and dog class, where I have to use implement this methods, empty methods created in animal class as a under it. So now what I did till now is, so I'm gonna ask somebody to explain this later. Okay, so please remember at the dog class, and they did the same, and I had different. I mean, system.outprint is just a simple example of doing it. Okay, but in real-time example, you'll have multiple code what it's supposed to do. So you will never have this as system.out. This is just one-on-one practice for the practice reason we are doing it. Now let's see the what department class did you create? Okay. Well, all right, then let me do this new class now, where I'm gonna create a new class. Where I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna say interface practice. Okay. I'm going to finish. I just added the public main void so that easier for me. So now this is an interface. Now, okay, I'm gonna ask the question now. Similar to now help me create an object of a pig class. Anyone give me let me know the syntax by now. How do I create an object of a pig class or instantiate a pig class? Anyone?
We do the class name
Mm-hmm.
and
Any the term, okay, proper term.
Mm.
What is next is
the object. What do we do?
object. Oh yeah, that also I can say object name or object.
Okay, is equal to new.
New
Okay.
and then bracket also.
And
So now if you see, I created a object of a pig class. Now what I do is pig, and then I have to call this any methods inside it, animal sound, and I do save pig dot. There's another one. I just can after you do dot,
Yeah.
you'll see other examples, right?
get
Run.
the run.
Run. If I do this is another example. So now, if I run this one second, Java. See, what do you see? We print the animal. So now we had example where we created a class within the same class, right? Now we are creating the class object within which is outside of that class. So earlier we did only everything that our previous example was with the interface and everything only. But now we are creating an object of a class of a different class. So you remember that this is what I'm doing here. So this is a simple example where I'm creating an object of a pig class. And in the different class, this is interface Java is a different class, pig is a different class. If you look here, there are different classes. When I created it, I created an object, and then this is now I created instantiated a class, and I call their methods inside the pig class. One is animal sound, another one is run. Due to which I said because so what happens when I ran this main method or this class, you see this pig says wee. There's nowhere in this class there's a pig say wee, but the pig say wee is inside the pig class. And when we call the animal sound, it's a public void. There's no any parameter stuff. We have implemented the system.out_print pig says wee, right? So if you look at this final class, we don't have any method. But whenever we call this animal sound, it's directly going and printing the wee. And similarly with the pig run also, if we do, it's saying zzz. Now let's create an object of a dog class. Anyone other than Susmita ji? How do I instantiate a dog class?
Dog, what, sir?
Dog class. How do I instantiate or create an object of a dog class?
Dog and again dog is equal to
Right. The dog class. Just say in that way so that you remember, right? Dog class name, and dog variable or object name, and equals to
is equal to the sound though line sir इसको अब क्यों
New
dog. You have to create an object of a class even before you want to.
New dog.
Right. And then bracket also, okay? And now I want to create a instance or I want to call the methods within the dog. After I do dot animal sound. Okay. Dog. Roll. Yep. So now I can create this one. So now let's do run. See, I get, if you see, the pig says wee, the dog says oof, and then run something. So this is what happened. So this is we created now somebody give me from beginning to end what we have done now till now. Anyone? What we did, what we did from the starting to end. Anyone can anyone take this an example and let me know. Oh, can anyone explain what we did till? Okay.
Like we created the interface and we created
Interface,
method.
no, that's too high level. Yeah,
Oh.
interface, yes, but what interface we created?
Like animal.
Okay, explain that way. We create an interface named animal.
Animal, and we created a method.
No, and within the animal, we created two empty methods, body, empty methods,
Mhm.
right? And that is, and those are animal sound and run. And what did we do next?
And we created two classes, pig and dog.
Right? And then we implemented the animal interface in the pig class. Due to which what happens is next thing we will see when you implement the animal interface, we have to implement the methods inside the interface also. What I mean by implements means you have to write what are the commands or what the method we want to do. You can do anything that you want here, right? So this is another thing that you have to do within the methods. And this is simple example, okay? Because sometimes people think that we only put system.out.print. No, this is very simple. I can just put here anything. I can just say int I equals to 0, okay, and then int j equals to 0, and then I'm gonna say system.out or int k equals to I plus 1, anything I can do. That's what I plus j. I can do anything. That's the reason I was trying to say that when you do anything, you can print anything. That doesn't mean that, okay, let me say two. This is just an example system.print, because sometimes people think that that's all you do in the code. No, that is just the example. And you say, okay. Okay, now if I run this one, let me see, just to make sure that you guys all understand that what's happening. See, it's 5. It's printing the 5. So we can do anything inside. That's the example between we use system.print is just for a sample and to simple example. So, and we created a P class which implements animal interface. So with that interface, we have to implement the methods within the animal interface. And that's what we did here. Similarly, we created a dog class. Within the dog class, we implement the animal interface, due to which we have to implement the methods inside of the animal interface. Next, anyone? Go ahead. Next thing, Sushmita.
Okay. And we call the method in the we do the method in the main method.
We created a
we created the instances.
new class interface. And within the new class interface, we use the main method. And what did we do inside the main method? Please
we
continue.
call the method.
We call the method not. We first instantiated the class, right? Pig class. And we call the methods inside the pig class, right? And next we instantiated dog class. We call the method inside the dog class, correct? So I'm gonna say this is the overall interface thing that we done. So similarly, you have to understand that what we are doing. So let me do one.
Excuse me. त्यसलाई कुनै एउटा लाइक न्युमेरिक अथवा कुनै अर्को एक्जाम्पलबाट के गर्न सकिन्छ एउटा प्र्याक्टिस गर्न
एक्जाम्पल भन्नको मतलब
लाइक डग यो जस्तै हाम्रो यो एउटा अब यो यस्तै टाइपको अरू के हुन सक्छ एक्जाम्पल लाइक
भेहिकल लिनु भेहिकल लिनु गाडीहरू भेहिकल भनेको त सबैको भेहिकल हो नि त अनि एउटा गाडी कार बनाउनु एउटा गाडीको बस बनाउनुस् अनि त्यसमा अब नम्बर अफ टायर्स बनाउनुस् मेथडको एनिमलसँग नम्बर अफ अर्को के भन्नुहोस् अब नम्बर अफ सिट्स बनाउनुस् त्यो पनि हुन्छ नि त
जस्तै अब कुनै न्युमेरिक हजुरको क्यारेक्टरहरूलाई चाहिँ युज गरेर अनि त्यसको रिजल्ट यसरी रन गर्ने के हो जस्तै कामको लागि कसरी युज हुन्छ
हाम्रो कामको लागि
हजुर
हाम्रो कामको लागि
हजुरले गर्ने काममा कसरी युज हुन्छ
त्यही मैले यत्रो पढाएको कारणले यही एउटा अब सेल नेम यहाँबाट सुरु भएको क्या एउटा टपिक यो एउटा लाइन अफ कोड बुझ्नलाई मैले अहिले यो सबै स्पेन्ड गरेको यो लाइन अफ कोड हो क्या सेलिनियम चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने फर्स्ट लाइन अफ कोड चाहिँ सेलिनियममा वेब ड्राइभर इक्वल्स टु न्यू क्रोम ड्राइभर बनाइन्छ क्या यो लाइन अफ कोड चाहिँ किन गरेको भन्ने कुरा एक्सप्लेन गर्न खोजेको मैले अहिले यो सबै एक्जाम्पल होल प्रोजेक्ट अझ त्यो सबै पुगिसकेको छैन यो किनकि सेलेनियममा किन चाहिन्छ र के गरेको भन्ने कुरा अब त्यसको एउटा पार्ट मात्रै हो अब अर्को पार्ट बाँकी छ यो चाहिँ अब एउटा बेसिक अहिलेसम्म हजुरहरूले बुझेको कुराबाट गरेको मात्र एक्जाम्पल हो यो तर इन्टरफेस भन्ने नयाँ इम्प्लिमेन्ट गरेर अब म अर्को कुरा गर्दैछु त्यसमा त एक्जाम्पल देख्नुहुन्छ तपाईँहरूले न्यू क्लास बनाउँछु call interface with call create interface name and implemented their class. Okay.
It has to be no space in between the words.
Yes, you cannot keep it. That's not allowed. Why I did the reason behind the earlier example we did is we created an object of a pig and dog class itself. There's another thing you could do with the what do you call this is the with the interface. So let me create a method just for simple. Okay, public static. I'm gonna use void for now. Yeah, I can use void, static void, and I'm gonna say call interface. Okay, and then I'm gonna say string animal name. Finally, string animal. Then I'm going to open and close this one, right? So what I'm going to do here within this interface is I'm going to create instead of creating the object of a class, that in the interface, what you can do is you can start with the animal equals to new. Okay, no, 1 second. Yes, I can do once. If animal name dot contains or equals I'm going to say character sequence equals ignore case. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say dog. Then you can do is this something. I'm going to do now animal. Another one is if animal name dot was okay, so I'm gonna do pig. This is just a sample, okay, example. So if you look here, first thing I just created an empty interface name, right? And next thing I'm going to do is animal. If it animal goes to new dog dot sorry, animal dot animal sound animal dot run. So these are the two methods inside it I call. Now I'm going to pick the same thing. Animal dot I think I should do the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to explain later. Okay. Goes to new big big sorry, animal dot animal sound animal dot run. So if you look here, what I did here, so let me explain this first, and then I'm gonna do, I created a class which I said I'm gonna pass the string here as a variable, like parameter animal name. So what I said, if you look at here, what I did is instead of creating the instantiating or creating the dog as separate and animal as separate, what I can do is I can create one object, animal. So I instantiate or create one object called animal. And within this animal, I can create a class same variable name, right? Same variable name. I can use a class dog. I can use the class pig. So what is this one of the wonderful thing about the interfaces? If you create one object, or you don't even have to specify the object, and you can use multiple implementation methods with the different conditions. Like in this case, I just gave a simple condition where I said what variable because now by now everyone understands these conditions and variable, right? I don't have to explain that. So what I did, I created a simple example of with conditions why you can create the same animal object and you can implement new dog within it and new pig within it. So for an interface, you have an option to have one object interface name like animal. Animal is an interface, and within the animal interface, you have an option to create either new dog or new pig. So if you look at and then you can use the same animal to do the other example like animal sound, animal run. So this way, what happens is in certain conditions, like it will save our time of creating different objects every time. So why I'm going to say this is, if you look here, we didn't say Chrome driver equals to new Chrome driver, right? We said web driver equals to new Chrome driver. The reason why I'm giving this example here is, instead of saying Chrome driver equals to new Chrome driver, we could also do, or we could still say that web driver equals to new Chrome driver is also, we can do it. And that is the most preferred way of doing the things. And why people want to do this way is because if you create a one object animal, and if you create a one object animal, I can create here, or I can make it a class variable also, right? Let me make it a class variable just in case. So 1 second, I may have to use static. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. I created a static variable animal as a class name. So and within that, I could use the same object, same animal interface name or interface variable name or object name, and create a different objects of the different class depending upon my need. So why this will save time is, what happens is in the real-time Java, okay, what happens when people write code and when they do the example like the driver, usually in a project or in an application, this should only be objects, and classes should not be just created for multiple use. Like how Java works behind the scene is, it has its runtime memory, runtime space, and everything, right? So in Selenium, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we only have one instances of Selenium WebDriver created within your whole project. If you in real-time example, there will only be this line of code. This line code would be, or not line of code, this driver instantiation would be only once within the whole project. Why? Because if you create multiple ones, it will create a multiple in the behind the scene, the Java JVM will create multiple objects with it, which will cause lots of issues in the coding. So what they do is, instead of doing that, they create and make sure call the interface name. This is an interface driver, and call the implemented method name, or sorry, implemented class name with it. So similarly, what we did is we created an animal interface. We created an interface name animal, and within the animal, we could call the new different classes within it. So like for the dog and pig, but the same animal. This is interface name or an interface object. So now let me do one thing. Call interface. 1 second. I'm gonna say pig. So let me run this class. Let's see what it does. 1 second. See, I say the pigs is Vivi and Gigi. Now let me do the same thing with the dog. And let me run this again. The dog says oof, oof. So this is the reason. So within the same object, what happens is I could do the multiple I could use the multiple class I can call with it. Similarly, in the Selenium WebDriver, I say WebDriver is an interface, and then driver I put, and then I call the implemented method with it. So this way, why the reason I use if-else condition is so that you guys also understand why we do that. So I don't want to create a new methods or new like I could say call dog, and then I could use this code within it, and then call and pig, and I could use. But if I want to do within the same method, now my code is much easier, right? So instead of call interface, I'm gonna say call animal. Okay, then that is a better way. And okay, so this way, see, if I have one method call animal, and I can change the parameters within the parameters, I can just use the depending on the parameter, I can get my results out. Okay. So can anybody explain now? I mean, what I explained, why we had to, what the reason behind creating this class, and why we had to do this interface. Can anybody explain this? Volunteer, please. We are here or no? I'm sharing my screen, right? Okay. I thought I'm speaking. No, I'm already disconnected, so nobody spoke.
Screen is there.
Okay. Anyone, please? Why explain the same thing what I said right now? Can anyone explain?
Please, guys.
Because this is important concept. The only to explain the first line of code, I created this whole project and this method in almost half an hour, 45 minutes. I spoke about it because this topic is I know this is the first line of code you write, and if you don't understand it, you'll have much more confusion and more questions later. That's the reason I spent an hour explaining this stuff. But did everybody understand what the reason behind all this project and the sample, all this code? I hope now let's go to the W3C school just to make sure that everyone there's an example we use. So similarly, the example is, we implemented the animal interface. Pig implements the pig class. And then this is the main method. We use our own main method. You could create with this, but for an example, we always create a separate class for that. And these are the things you have to remember. Okay, these are the notes you have to remember. Some of them, like abstract class interface cannot use a create object. Used to create an object. In an example above, it is not possible to create an animal object in my main class. So this is a good example which is said. Now let me practice this so that what it is saying is, for interface, I cannot create an object. Animal. Okay, I'm gonna say dog one, animal dog equals to, or no, sorry, animal one equals to new animal. This is not allowed. Look, if you see this one, if you go cannot instantiate the type animal. So that's what it is saying. Animal is an interface. You cannot instantiate or create an object of an animal interface. That's what it is saying. So if you look at the first line, this is not allowed. Okay, that's the reason we cannot create an object of an interface. This is what it's saying. So we have to use the interface method. Do not have a body. The body is provided by the implement class. So in the animal class, we don't have any body. So we only have the method name, and all these methods are implemented in the implemented class, like the pig and other one. On implementation of interface, you must override all of its methods. So basically, we are saying there could be some methods that would may have a common name, but will be override by this method. So just remember that for now. Interface methods are by default abstract and public because it has to be called or implemented in the implemented class, right? That implements the animal method, then we have to make this class as a public so that it's accessible to the implemented class. Interface attributes are by default public, static, and final. So this is you don't have to use this keyword. This is already a public, static, and final. So that's the reason if you look at animal, I say public, right? I can say void also, static, final also can be used, but it's basically even don't use it. It is already saying that within the interface, it's already public, static, and final. And an interface cannot contain a constructor. So this is another thing we have to remember is interface cannot be constructor. So constructor is another way. So if Java, there are multiple steps, right? You have to learn, but just remember that constructor cannot be. So if you want to learn about constructor, you are more than welcome to start learn about it. But it's better to learn about constructor too. Why and when to use interface to achieve security. Go. Sorry, the dog came. So go. I'm busy. Go. So I'm in my friend's house, so they have a dog, so it wants me to come and play with it.
Me too distracted today, I had to mute my voice because of the other noises.
Oh, okay.
Now I switched the spot now. Maybe it's good now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the dog came and started to lick me. Okay. So why and when to use interface? To achieve security, hide certain details and only show the important details of an object. So this is another way of saying that if sometimes interface means interface, only the interface methods are you don't see the methods imposed, right? Exposed by the interface. So there's some security. This is just for now. Just remember, this is what for security purpose they use it. Java does not support multiple inheritances. A class can only inherit from one superclass. However, it can achieve with interfaces because the class can implement multiple interfaces. So what it is saying is a class can implement multiple interfaces. Like for here, we only implemented the animal in the pig class. We only implemented the animal, right? But we could implement, if we had created some animals other than the animal, if you have other interface, you could implement that also. That's what it is saying here. So multiple interfaces. So if you look at here, this is a simple example. It says my first interface 1, interface 2, and in order to implement the class, you have to say that first interface, second interface. So this way with comma, if you look at it, comma, you have to provide a comma and the interface name. It can implement the multiple interface. So that's what it is saying here. And let's go. Yeah, that's all then. Can anybody explain me now what is an interface? I'm gonna go to the top and then I'm gonna ask somebody. What is an interface?
The abstract is the abstract class. This method antibodies.
Okay. And anyone other than Susmita, what is an interface in Java? No one wants to speak, or anyone? I have the whole screen here. You can at least say something about interface. Somebody will ask you, what is an interface? What would you say? Okay, I'm gonna pick somebody. Let's see. Whom should I pick? Anyone? Okay, I see Prasanna. Prasanna ji. Okay, you. What is an interface?
It's a sort of abstract class that is used to group relate method with the empty bodies.
Okay, you can see there and read. That is also good. As long as you can say it and you understand what you are saying here. That's all I want. That's the matter to me. That's correct. That's an abstract class where has a which contains methods without bodies. That's all you have to say. And what are the methods what are the types, what kind of methods are present in the interface? Or they could use some other word and stuff. All you need to say is public, static, and final attributes of a method. Public, static, and final. That is what you need to say. And third thing is, how do you implement an interface? There's another question. How do you implement an interface? Somebody let me pick some on that.
Implement.
Pankaj, how do you implement an interface? Oh, Pankaj, are you recording and left there, or you are there? Okay, Pratik ji, you are below that. Okay. How do you implement an interface?
Sorry, sir, I cannot explain.
Okay, no worries. By anyone, let me go to Netraji then. How do you implement an interface in Java?
So, to declare two similar type of things,
My question: how do you implement an interface in Java? Implement, or how do you use interface in Java? The example here is by using the implements keyword. That's what
First, create the interface by using the interface keyword, answer.
How do you implement it? That's the word exact with implements keyword, by using the implements keyword. That's what you need to say. How do you
Sometimes we
implement?
don't know what to say, you know. I know, but I was thinking like maybe you implement with the, you know, class with the interface.
See, here also it says the interface must be implemented by another class with an implements keyword. That's what I was saying. Okay.
It
That's what
was
you
right
mean.
there. We didn't even see it.
implements keyword.
Yeah.
So that's the answer, right? Implement
Yep.
keyword.
Yeah, implements
I
keyword.
was looking for something big.
No worries. It is with the implements keyword. Why? Yeah, that is the, if you understand this much, at least, and how do you have to implement? So I'll post this example of the code. Okay, in the 1 second, let me see this idea here, right? Okay, so practice this. I'm going to 1 second, let me see this best source. No, sorry, showing file explorer, system explorer. Let me do this. Let me send compress it. Okay. Next time when I ask about this, okay, please, I'm gonna say, let me add that to the model graph. Here. I'm going to add this class to the today's lecture, week 11. I'm gonna say folder. Okay. Interface. Go over this project if you need some support on that. 700. Okay, interface sample project is under this folder. So whatever we studied till now for the interface, and just for the sake of one line of code, I explain all this information. Okay, and I have to explain this why we did WebDriver driver equals to new Chrome driver.
So here, like I got a question, like here the web driver is the interface, right? And the driver is object.
Driver, yes, correct.
And
what is Chrome driver then? With the example we did, right? What could be the Chrome driver?
Like the class.
Okay, what class? Properly, yeah, that's class, correct. What class?
Yeah, I got so, you know, so distracted, you know. put in the class.
Oh, sorry. The class that implements the WebDriver interface. That's what you need to say. If you go inside, that implements the WebDriver interface. Now let me do. What you can do is once you mouse hover over the Chrome driver, click on the control keyword, okay, and the control in the keyboard in your keyboard, mouse hover it, you will see that this icon change, right? It will like a hand icon, and if you see the hand icon, you click on the open declaration. Don't do this practice, but if you look at this Chrome driver, right? Oh, it doesn't say that. Oh, I think they implemented it differently now. Okay. Well, I mean, they changed the code behind it with the new. Don't worry about it. I said I'm going to show you how they did. Usually, you should have this implements, right? I'm trying to see. Chrome options. What did they do? Oh, okay. They changed this way, implementation way. Okay. Well, okay. We can ignore it right now for now. Usually, what used to happen is I could just click on the. 1 second, I can see animal.
I think you showed it last time.
I tried to show this Chrome driver once, and let me see there. WebDriver extends is there. 1 second, let me control. Open implementation. Let's see who implemented it. Oh yeah, my bad. Remote Chrome driver does it. Okay. If you go to remote Chrome driver, if you see here, remote Chrome driver implements the WebDriver interface. See this? And the WebDriver calls the remote WebDriver. I mean, Chrome driver calls the remote web. So it's code inside code inside code. It happens, okay? Because this code is very complex. But just to understand that, if you look at this remote WebDriver, like let me go back to here, right? I went here, I clicked in it, I went open implementation, right? When I click on open implementation, it gave me some sample where it is what's happening. So look at this. I means if you look at the I icon in front of WebDriver, this is an interface. Okay. And if you look at interface, this interface is called by remote WebDriver class. Inside remote WebDriver class, there is Chromium driver, which Chrome driver is both are present under this Chrome. So what happens is inside this interface is called by this. Inside this class is what you call that, extended by the Chromium driver. Inside Chrome driver, you'll see Chrome driver. So usually that's how it happens. Like say extend, right? Remote WebDriver. So how it did is let me explain you the diagram. What do you call that? Paint. Yeah, I'm not very good at painting, so let you know that. In this code, what happens is this box. Oh my god. Oh, 1 second. Red box. Another box. Another box. Okay. Maybe I need one more in case. I don't know if I need this one or not, but I'll just clear first now. I'm gonna write it here, text. This is a WebDriver. And no, this is, I'm gonna say, okay. Another one here, interface. Another class. This is a class. Class name is remote WebDriver. So this is code inside code. So if you don't have to know that. This is just for very high level knowledgeable, because somebody later in the future somebody will ask it, everybody explain you this, then you may say that maybe not, Then what happens is remote WebDriver, then there is a Chromium WebDriver. What is the name? I don't know the name. Chromium driver. Inside Chromium driver, there's another class. This is how in the real world it works. Okay, not this complex, but in the big projects, real development, this is what happens. Chrome WebDriver. So this is the real. So let me give these sizes. Okay, here you go. This one from here to here to here. What happens is in here it says, oh my god, no, 1 second. Text it said implement, because this is an interface. How does interface work? Implements. Here, class to class, what you do is extend. Because subclass, I may haven't learned, but you can learn about what is extends. Extends. Okay, This is what happened right there. If you look at this interface WebDriver, is implemented by remote WebDriver class. Remote WebDriver class extends to Chromium driver, and Chromium driver means Chromium WebDriver extends to the Chromium driver. So this is how the code flow. So let me save this also. Chrome WebDriver call class call flow. Okay. So that later somebody may explain. Did you talk about it? That's just that, I want to make sure this is another topic which I may not be in very way, but I have explained this, or I have at least let you know how the code flows. Okay, just for that sake, you need to know this. So let me enter. So this is how the overall we hit the Chrome driver. So what we did is we created a Chrome driver interface. I mean, WebDriver driver equals to new Chrome driver. This is how we call here. So if somebody will ask you what are the call flow or something, at least remember that. I mean, that's all you have to remember. But all I wanted to explain you is there is an interface, and there is a there is an interface, and there is a class. That's how we created an instance of a WebDriver class by calling the WebDriver interface name. So this is a way of creating another way of creating an object of a class. Just for now, just remember that this is another way of creating a object of a class using an interface. Okay, any questions to know? Because some of the things, like I said, you have to only way is you have to yeah, the only way I can say is 1 second, just remember what I said, and then all those topics. I may not be able to explain 100% everything, but this is the I try to explain as much as I can. So any questions for that?
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. Now I know how to say it.
Okay, yeah, that's important, because sometimes
Mhm.
people, we don't realize, right, what you
Mhm.
want to know and what you want. So I added this flow diagram also in the model, so that everyone can look into it also. Okay, yeah, so let's take 10 minutes break now, and then we'll be back in another 10 minutes, after 10 minutes. So we'll go over some of these Selenium commands after this. All right, see you, talk to you in 10 minutes. Thank you. हेलो वेलकम ब्याक। अनि आजको कस्तो भइरहेछ त हजुरहरूलाई कतिको बुझ्नुभयो अहिलेसम्म फेरि यो कन्सेप्टहरू अब यो नयाँ नयाँ कन्सेप्टहरू हुन्छ नि अब त्यही हो यो चाहिँ क्याचअप गर्नुपर्छ कस्तो लाग्यो हजुर आजको कन्सेप्ट इन्टरफेसको
मैले चाहिँ बुझेँ होइन म आफैले एक दुई पटक गर्नुपर्छ जहिले पनि त्यो बुझेर मात्रै हुँदैन कि त आफैले गर्नै पर्छ मैले होइन म आज प्र्याक्टिस गर्छु अनि
एटलिस्ट पढ्नु भयो भए सजिलो हुन्छ कि
उम्,
प्र्याक्टिस अनि त्यसपछि अब
तर
मैले
पढेको भएर मेक सेन्स चाहिँ गर्छ मैले बुझ्न चाहिँ बुझेँ होइन
यहाँ गर्ने त्यही हो अब सुरुमा त पढ्ने हो मैले अब त्यहाँ दुईटा कुरा अघि भने त्यहाँ मध्ये होइन अब यो चाहिँ म अब कुनै बेला मिल्यो भने मात्रै नत्र चाहिँ तपाईँहरूले प्योर पढ्ने हो है यो चाहिँ अब यो पक्नुहोस् यहाँ म अब हाल्छु
अब त्यहाँ राखिदिनु न अनि
हजुर यो दुईटाको मैले अघि त दुईटा वर्डहरू भने त्यसको बारेमा भनेपछि गर्नु त पर्यो होइन पक्नु चाहिँ के राख्ने भने एसाइनमेन्टै राख्ने नि त दुईटा एसाइनमेन्ट रिड इनो यसको बारेमा पनि पढ्नुहोस् दुईटा बेग्लै बेग्लै बनाइदिन्छु म चाहिँ केही पनि छैन यो एसाइनमेन्ट हो पढ्ने एसाइनमेन्ट त्यसको क्लासहरू पनि बनाउनुहोस् त्यसपछि एउटा मैले अघि जसरी सिम्पल क्लासहरू बनाएँ होइन रिड इनम प्रोभाइड के अरे स्याम्पल लोड अर अपलोड स्याम्पल इनम एक्जाम्पल क्लास प्रोजेक्ट ल अघि मैले जसरी कपी गरेर जसरी देखाएँ त्यही पेस्ट गर्नुहोस् है अर्को छ अब सब क्लास मैले दुईटा भने अघि होइन इनर क्लास भन्छ कि सब क्लास भन्छ हेर्नु के भन्दो रहेछ यिनीहरूले होइन इनर क्लास होइन सब क्लास छैन ए छैन एक्सपिरियन्स ए छैन हुनुपर्ने हो फ्याक्सन इन्टरफेस इनम कसरी भयो पक्ष चाहिँ अन्त भन्छ सब क्लास ए यहाँ रहेछ नि त ल यहीँबाट जाबा इनहेरिटेन्स भन्ने रहेछ कहाँ रहेछ इन्हेरिटेन्स ए इनहेरिटेन्समै राखिदिएको रहेछ माई ब्याड हो इनहेरिटेन्सहरू सबै एक्जाम्पल त हामीले अस्ति नै पढाएको थियौँ होइन यो पनि प्र्याक्टिस गरेर यो पनि क्लास बनाउनुहोस् त्यसरी नै गर्नुहोस् यो मैले भेहिकल भनेको थिएँ नि कार स्कुटी यहाँ बनाएर रहेछ ल यो पनि एकचोटि प्र्याक्टिस गर्छ त्यसै अघि मैले जसरी गरेँ त्यसलाई इन्टरफेसलाई त्यसरी नै यो पनि प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुहोस् पक्क चाहिँ यो पनि एसाइनमेन्ट हुन्छ यो assignment read inheritance class upload sample inheritance class project inheritance project ल यो पनि अब पढेर आफै पढेर त्यसको लागि अघि मैले जसरी गरेँ स्याम्पल कपी गरेर अनि त्यो सबै राख्नुहोस् त्यो पनि अपलोड गर्नुहोस् एसाइनमेन्टमा पनि यो पनि एसाइनमेन्ट हो यो चाहिँ अब दुइटै है यो दुइटा एसाइनमेन्ट मैले हालिदिएको छु यो दुइटै एसाइनमेन्ट हो हजुरले दुइटै अब यो लेभलमा गरेर अपलोड गर्न हाल्नुहोस् इनम र इनहेरिटेन्स त्यसरी नै जाभा प्रोजेक्ट बनाएर त्यसरी नै अब गएर बुझेर अनि केही बुझ्नु भएन भने केही कतै अड्क्यो केही भएन भने मलाई भन्नुहोस् अनि यो चाहिँ अनि गरौँला तर अब यो जाभाको यो पनि मैले हालेँ इनहेरिटेन्स जस्तो दुइटैको यो पढ्नुपर्छ इनहेरिटेन्स प्लस इनम किनकि अहिले त्यहाँ दुइटा आएको हुनाले टपिक आएको हुनाले यो आफै पढ्नुहोस् ल अब एटलिस्ट त्यो कन्सेप्ट अब पढ्नुभएको भए हजुरले पनि बुझ्नुहुन्थ्यो होला त्यो अब त्यो त्यहाँ भनेको कुराहरू पढ्नुभएको भए सजिलो हुन्थ्यो अब यसो गरौँ अब एक्जाम्पल होइन अब चाहिँ अब सेलेनियमको सुरु गरौँ अब के गर्ने भने अब हामीले फेरि मेरो अलिकति आज इन्टरनेट माथि गऱ्यो यतातिर लो रहेछ अलिकति राम्ररी पक्रिरहेको छैन आज अब यही गरिदिउँ त W3C स्कुल नै है यसलाई अहिलेलाई यसकै एक्जाम गरौँ ल अब यो चाहिँ पहिला W3C स्कुलमै जाउँ पहिला यसकै एक्जाम्पल गरौँ तपाईँलाई सबैलाई अब W3C स्कुल होइन यो कपी गर्छु अब यो चाहिँ अब सेलेनियम एक्जाम्पल गरेँ W3C स्कुलबाट है अब मैले अहिले सुरु चाहिँ कहाँबाट अब अर्को एउटा टपिक सुरु गरेको थिएँ आज अलिक भ्याइदिन जस्तो लाग्यो बिचमा के गर्नु भोलि टपिक गरौँला न त अर्को विक गरौँला एटलिस्ट सेलेनियमको सुरु गर्नु पर्यो अनि मैले त्यहाँ आई अल्सो अपलोडेड दिस सेलेनियम कमान्ड्स टु रिड हाउ मेनी अफ यु वेन्ट ओभर दि सेलेनियम कमान्ड्स that is basic selenium commands, right? The link I sent. How many of you went over that? Basic selenium.
I went through.
Okay. And anyone else other than Susmita ji, did anybody go over this selenium commands? No? Nobody? Nobody went over this too? I mean, these are important. This is all about automation. Unless you read through this, at least understand this. You have to make a note of this. All these commands, you have to make a note and cheat sheet for everything. This is, you have to create a note, print it. I would say create a Word document, create a cheat sheet out of it, and print it out, and then put it in your somewhere in your room where you can see all the time and look into it every time, because these are all very basic command which you have to know. So these are all the I mean, at least from the cheat sheet perspective, you have to know all of them. At least if you don't even know how to do it, but at least you understand what it is doing. So you have to know what is exactly, that's all the things we are doing in here. Okay, so I will start with the automating the W3C school, just for name's sake. Okay. Now, oh, 1 second. What did I do? What is that? Why is this showing up right now? Yeah, let's remove this. But this stays here. Sometimes it goes away. I don't know why it's staying there. In W3C school, we are going to automate the W3C school. So in order to do that, there are basic commands. So first thing we need to do is we need to create an object or instantiate the driver that we want to use. So in this case, I am going to use Chrome driver because I want to run my test against the Chrome driver. And second thing I need to do is I need to get what URL or which website I want to automate. For now, I want to automate the Selenium W3C school website. So that's what I'm going to do. And what is my test case or what is my test case? So again, now use case or test case. I have to remember that all the terms we use, right? My test case is I want to find the or search the W3C school. I want to search an interface in W3C school. Here, in order before I even start automation, I need to know what is the website I want to automate. First thing, what is the URL? Then I need to know what is the website URL I want to automate. And third thing is what are the actions I need to perform. So if you remember, there are I also portrayed some of the actions that our web page has, right? Remember in the one of the lecture, what does actions means or what are the clicks you do? First thing you do is you do a click. This is I click on the right click, left click, or you to hit enter, or those are like this is the search button. So there is a drop down. This is a drop down. If you look at this is a drop down. If you look at there's some other option, radio button. So I gave an example of all those objects, right? So in this one, this is a, if you look at what is this is a text box. So another thing which I want everyone to also learn or know about it is the in Selenium, what happens is we have to find one of the that I think everyone should also look at the video. Okay, I'll demo that, but before that, I want to know a video so that you guys have something to look into it. How to find element locators in Selenium driver. Okay. I want to look everyone to look at the videos. Okay, this is something which videos? Videos, okay. Okay. Let me see. Maybe this one. Eureka is good ones. Let me see if they have proper videos. I said didn't have videos. Okay, there you go. Let me check first whether the video has the information. Where you go? Okay, let's see. Yeah. This is okay. I think this is also good. I mean, I'm going to do the same thing, but if you want someone else to explain or you want to look into it, this is another good example. Okay, let me post this also. Add a topic now. Let me do this. Reading assignment, right? At least I can do it. Okay, I'm gonna say go over this video also. Selenium locators. Watch video. The another one which is, I'm going to do the same way, but sometimes it's helpful when you also someone else tries to explain it to you also. Go over that video also and see what you can learn from them. So let me start now with this W3C scope. So there are different actions we can perform, right? So when and this is it, I want to search for the interface in Java. So if I look here, this is a text box. How do I know what is this locator or what does it mean by locator? So in a web page, okay, in an ideal web page, what happens is each web page is made of a code. Here it would be basically an HTML code. So what is an HTML? By now, if everyone should have read about some of the HTML and the links I sent to you to read. In HTML, the web pages are written in a hypertext language, which is called an HTML. So in order to find the locators are within the HTML page element. So within the page. So this is all this website is basically a web page written in HTML with other code also included, but it's an HTML code. So now in order to find the locator, you are basically finding the HTML tag or HTML node or what is mentioned there. So what I do is, since this is a text box, I'm going to mouse over, put my mouse over here, or maybe I can click also, and I do right click on it. Right click on my mouse, right click my mouse, and there is if you look at this inspect, there is a key called inspect. Okay, when I right click on it, I see this inspect option. So I click on the inspect option. As soon as I click on the inspect option, let me close this one. This one I don't need. Okay, what is new in this? So I'm just gonna close this. Sometimes you'll see the option here. Sometimes you'll see down. Depending upon that, what happens is upon your setup, like here, this you see the dot here. I like to set up on the bottom. So that's the reason my one is in the bottom. If you want on the side or this side, some of you may have in different side dock to the right, like this way. It will be this way if you dock to the right. If you dock to the left, it will be, or if you want the bottom, it will be something. So I like to put on the bottom. So now over here, I'll go mouse over it. Whenever I set inspect element, this HTML line or this within the input tag got highlighted, right? So when it got this means this is the highlighted area for this means what that means is this. If I go and if you look at mouse over, right? If I mouse over it, what elements get highlighted? If you, here in this case, my mouse here, nothing got highlighted. If I put my mouse here, you see the search box, search text box got highlighted. If I go a little down, I don't know which object got highlighted. Now, if I click a little bit more after or something, different elements get highlighted. Like, okay, this button is the search button got highlighted. So there are different elements within the page gets highlighted. Open the inspect element. So this is important because this is for Selenium, you have to know this. This is okay, not something that you can know. You have to know this because this is the only way to find the element locator. So now, if you have gone through the Selenium and some of the locator types and stuff, my lecture before, there are multiple locators in Selenium. One of them is ID. So if you look here, this element here, this which is I want to know the element locator of the search text box. I clicked, when I highlighted it, I see the ID here. So if you look at here, this is all input type equals to text, the placeholder equals to this one, ID equals to search. So there are few keywords or few locator types you can use. One of them is ID, name, class path, and all of those are different locator types. And there are different conditions when you use them. But most common is whenever you see this ID, you'll always use the ID. Some of them are name, class names, and there are multiple ones. So if you go over the document, you will know more. And when you practice more, you will see the more and more examples. So in this case, I see the ID. So what I'll do is I'll copy this one. Now, what I will do here is, this is the easiest way of doing it, but I'm going to do is I'm going to locate that element. Now I'm going to say WebDriver, oh, sorry, web element. So in similar to, what do you call that? Name of them would be a search box. Search box equals to driver dot find element by dot ID and search. Okay. Now what I did here, web element, because import web element. So this is another thing we have to do. Remember is sometimes we go, example here, this error it shows, I have to import it. So what is a web element? So this is another thing I may or may not have it, but if you look at what is a web element, I may have to look here, web element. Web element in Selenium. So whenever I say something, what is a web element? So it's always good to Google it, right? What are web elements in Selenium? Anything that is present on a web page is a web element, such as text box, button, and all those elements. Web element represents an HTML element. So this is what you need to remember. Web element represents an HTML element. Selenium WebDriver encapsulates the simple form element as an object of the web element. So Selenium WebDriver encapsulates a simple form element as an object of a web element. So in order to declare an object or any page element, what we do is we create a web element as an see if I go over here, you see the eye icon, right? Is an interface too. Okay. And I gave the interface name. Now, how do we implement a driver? Was just new Chrome driver. But in order to instantiate the search box web element, we need to use is the driver. We have to call this driver means this driver. So WebDriver dot find element means find the element of all the driver methods. So like if you have learned about this sample, you will know what I mean by that. If you look at here, where did it go? 1 second. I don't know why this one doesn't go away. I hate it now. This is the one where I said no, not this one. Sorry. Top, yeah, this one. If you have gone through the document, you will see that web element command. Web element refers to an HTML element which contains a start tag, an end tag, and contains within the between. So if you look here in the web page that we want to, 1 second, I'll do is I'll move this into a different view. This is giving me a hard time. Start tag, input is a tag. And if you look at here, this is an end tag. Everything that is start and the end tag is an HTML element. It contains a start tag and end tag, and that contains in between. That is a web element. We have various web element commands in Selenium. web element equals to driver.find element by ID. So what happens is in Selenium, if you want to find an element, you need to first use the web element. So this is a command, or this is a syntax for the declaring a web element. Now what happens is, let me remove this one. I don't know why. Okay, why is here? So I said that the search box is a web element for me in the Selenium. Now the command I need to use is driver, which is basically the same driver, because I can create a new one. Now the same web driver I could call multiple methods, right? For the web element, I need to use is web driver. If I go click on dot, right, because this is how I call the methods. First method is find element. So I click on find element, and what happens is, let me remove this and I'll let you know what happens when you click on that driver dot. So first element is here, right? I just click on the mouse click, left click, or right. I think just I'll click on the mouse click, right? After I click on it, it's populates the find element. Now if I mouse hover to 5 elements, what it says is it takes the by. What is a by? By is also an in the command, okay, just say in the Selenium, it's a way of declaring a different locator types. So if you look at locator types, right, for us, we could use the ID. So this is a locator type ID. So I say, I'm going to say by ID. I clicked on it. It says null. Within this, I'm going to add the search. This is the text I copied from the web page. And I clicked on column, and this is what I did. So anybody like want to start, or like, see, if you look at what is by is also a way of, like, in Selenium mechanism to locate elements within a document. In order to create a locating mechanism, it is possible to subclass it, but this class overrides a protected method. So if you go a little bit more, you'll be more confused. So only remember that in order to call the web element, you need to use the locator type, right? By ID, by name, by class name. These are different locators calling names in Selenium. I think I already added this also in the previous lectures. Or if you have gone through the document, you would find more. So by how do I locate a element is by ID, name, class path. I mean hyperlink. These are all this stuff I already talked about last week. But still, if you want to know more, you could Google it. And by now, I'm saying here is driver.find element by ID.search. So now what I did is I created an object of a within the web element as a search box. Now this is a search box is a web element I create. Now I want to perform actions on the search box. Search box dot. So if I do the search box, what happens now? A bunch of methods comes in, right? I want to send text, or I want to type something, then I have to use, there is a key option method called send keys. These are all the methods that Selenium implements. Okay, we didn't implement this. These are all Selenium. Is a tool, right? So whenever I say tool, means in a sense that Selenium already have those methods created. We didn't create this method. Okay, so what I mean by that is all the methods are already implemented or created by Selenium. We are using them. We are not going to create a new one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say interface, right? And after I click on interface, I'm going to click on this search box. Now let's do this one. I'm going to, after inspect, what you can do is also, one second, let me remove that also. You can right click on this one and say inspect. Okay, I want to know the inspect. So if you look at here, ID, I can use ID locator type. So I'm going to use the ID. I'm going to use another element now. Web element search button equals to driver dot find element by dot ID, and then I'm going to use it has to be exact the same, okay, because the commands, you should make sure that brackets, whatever brackets are closed should be closed. This comma, everything should be matching, because this is, if you look at, there are multiple brackets. Okay, there is another thing which we didn't talk, but these brackets also, like the in algebra, right? We have different brackets closing different. So this is also syntax. You have to make sure that it's closing properly. I have two brackets, so I close the two brackets, and this inner code is inner code. So this is another one I use is for the search button. Now I want to use this. One second. Search button dot click. I want to click on the action. So these are the other actions that is in the WebDriver, and the object is I want to click this element. Now let's run what happens. Okay. Run as. No, first you always practice with the local first you practice. What happens? You see when I did manually, this is what I got, right? Okay, let's remove this one just for example. So this is the option that it populated. Now let me see if I get the same thing here or not. Run as Java. One second. It launched the browser, and it went over the, see, first thing we did get elif command, which launched this browser. Let it completely launch it. Okay. Oh, it's taking some time to launch that. Okay, because see, if this is rotating, that's why it is waiting. Hopefully it doesn't take that long time. Well, it's taking a long time. Okay, see, then what it did is the actions I performed again, right? The test case is, for me, this is not a complete test case, but just a sample test case where my test case was I need to go to W3. So first thing, even if you start writing it, you have to understand the test case, right? You understand the test case we created in the beginning. We went over our test case was to go to the W3C school website, main homepage, and search for the interface keyword, and you see the list of result populated. So this was our test case. Okay, and with this test case, we automated the test case right now. Just see, it will not be that simple. I will have more examples, and we'll do more about it. But for now, I'm just wanted to show you some very simple example. Our test case was launch the W3C school and click and search the interface keyword, and so we hit the search button and show me the list of elements with interface. That was our test case, and this is what we automated here. Okay, so I will pause here, and I know many of you didn't go through all those documentation and stuff which I talked. There are multiple topics I talked right now, not only one. And many of you may be confused what I'm talking here right now. So I will pause here. I'll let you guys ask the question for what I did, and tomorrow after you go through all the topics I mentioned today and the video that I recorded today, and then we'll continue this lecture for tomorrow. But yeah, for now, let's understand what we did, and if you have any questions, please ask me now.
I have a question, like this is like when in the HTML that inspect was showing all those long codes. So is it like already there, or people need to write those things, or like they need to create those things, or it's already created by the program?
This is already, whenever you go to a website, this is already there. So this is from the website. So this, whenever I create on this, right, it's already click on this and inspect. Any web page you can do this, and this is already. So whenever persons, how does a website is created? So that is again, the websites have the different way, like 3-tier architecture we talked about, right? 2-tier. Remember the 3-tier architecture we talked about, and business logic, user interface, and the backend. In the 3-tier architecture, this is user interface. So in user interface, what are the language to code user interface? One of them is, they have many other language they use, most of them, but in general, HTML is the language that they use to create a website, front end, only the GUI layer. Okay, in 3-tier architecture.
So this is like this is the code from the HTML, right?
Right.
So is
correct,
it code,
correct.
or what do we say to these numbers, like these values over here?
This is an HTML page. This is an HTML, and this you can say the source HTML source code, or the you can also say the HTML page or HTML source, you can say, or source code, you can
So
say.
so HTML, these codes, they convert them to the byte codes and then they stays in the database.
For us,
Is
no,
that
no, no. Whenever you launch access this page, means you are basically what happens. How this works is in internet means whenever you do W3C school or anything you do, right, you are
right?
basically hitting the website. In the website, when you hit that, there is a DNS. So there's all networking thing. I don't want to go over that. That will be more confusing. So whenever you hit the W3C school means what happens is there is somewhere in the internet, like in the internet, how it works is there are private, there are public websites. When this is public means anyone can go and access the website, right? The W3C is public, I can access, you can access, but if you go some other thing, you may not be able to access those information. So public informations websites are uploaded to a public server. In a public server, what happens whenever you click on the W3C school, the result, or whenever you say facebook.com, whatever it populates, everyone can access the facebook.com. I can access. You do it behind the scene. What happens? They have to upload certain code there that they will upload mainly the HTML page. So HTML is one of the language. So whenever they do, they have to create the page source also uploaded into the server. So this is not the bytecode. I would say these are there are technologies and there are code, the zip code, or the say example we say jar, right? Whenever you do it, there are pages created for it. For this say example, when somebody said you saw the W3C school page, right? When I click on the HTML page, how does all this contents come from? Somebody has
So
to
there
write the
has to be
code, right?
someone who writes or who create all these
Correct.
the front lines, right?
Correct. This is the code. Somebody may read it from somewhere, but these are the code somebody created or wrote, creating the code in the selling. I mean, in the coding or whatever they did in the project or coding project, the developer will go and code this and then they will deploy it to the server, like deploy it to the what do you call this public servers.
So no one can just like when we go to the inspect and we see, so no one can go there and manipulate that. So they have to
They
have
can
some
manipulate
access.
it, but that is manipulated only temporary. But if you like say example, I can say is okay.
Inspect.
I'm gonna give you example. Okay, I'm gonna say right. I'm gonna give this element home. I can manipulate this instead of home. I can say home B. Okay, home B
Okay.
came right. But this is only temporary location. Now, what happens is now I can manipulate it. I can do it. But as soon as I refresh this page, home stays home.
Okay.
So
So
this
there
is
has to be like some
you
registered or like I don't know how to say that. And so those kind of person or those kind of access and so to change the home to like second home or home two or something.
right.
Right.
That is again, they have to write a code. Developer has to write a code. They have to deploy it into the server, and then deploy the code. Right? I said deployment, and the other they have to deploy this and then upload it into the server. And when they deploy in the production or in the real time, when we say production or the real time, then only you will see this home as some other thing. But this is just temporarily. I can manipulate it, but this is not real manipulation. This is just like like I said, I made home to something, right? How so
Like
that's
we sometime hear about some hackers did this manipulation all this, so they get that access to get into the jump into the real coding profile and they just do it from there.
correct.
Is
That is
that right?
that is hacking. They access to the remote. Like you right now, you cannot access my laptop, right? But
Right.
the hackers will access my laptop. So similarly, instead of my laptop, think of this as a server. Server is also a computer without the GUI. GUI means without this keyboard and everything. Because computer is basically a processor, right? And with all those RAM, motherboard, or whatever. You say example, you have a CPU in Nepal. We use CPU, right? You can
Right.
connect any screen to it, right? Any like you have 12-inch screen also you can attach. You can attach 15-inch also. You can attach Dell, or you can attach Lenovo, or you can have Sony. You can attach any screen to it, right? Like monitor to it. So similarly, this is what happens. So when CPU is also is a whole thing. That is what a server means. It's a CPU. And when that CPU or is how this information is stored. So what they will do instead of GUI, they will go and access the CPU information. Yes. And when this they will have ways. I'm not a hacker. I don't know how they do it. But what I know is they will go and access this network and they will go and manipulate it. Yes, that's correct. And they will go and change this information.
Yeah. So yeah, this is interesting. You know, I used to see in someone's computer they're doing that. I never knew that. How do we get to this page? So this is very, very important. Thank you, sir. So this is like to inspect or any page. You know, we see that somebody is doing, but I don't know how to ask that question. So how do you get this page or something? So I know how to do it now. How to
Okay.
get into that inspecting and this codes in here. So this
Okay.
is something new for me.
Sure.
Thank you.
No worries. And another thing you could do is here, and if you go to dot, right, this 3 dot, and more tools. If you look at more tools, right, and there is a developer tool. So this way also you'll see the this developer tool. So if you go here, dot, more tools and developer tools, you will see the same thing populated. See, you'll see that through that also. So there's two ways of getting this page. Okay. So another one, first one is right click on this, click on inspect. Second way is going through this triple dot, more tools, and clicking on the developer tools. Okay.
They both give the same codes like
Same
HTML, like,
same code. Not this. They give you this. What is the HTML content of this page? That's all they got. So what is saying? I see this web page. What is the HTML content of this web page? So what is an HTML of this page? This is the HTML of the page. This is how you. That's what.
So
Remember
either way for the same page is going to show the either way it shows the same thing in the displays.
Correct. It's the same. But if you want to know a specific element, like for here, this is home button, right? If I want to get specific, I have to click on this mouse, go over this, and then click on inspect. This will give me the specific, like this. This is means if I see mouse over here, you'll see that home is highlighted, right? Whenever in the HTML tag. When I go over here, like if I tag here, it's the highlighted is next button, like here next, right? See the next button. If I go over the next line, it's highlighted the next one. If I go over this tag, if you see the home is highlighted, means it will highlight what is the what element is represents this HTML tag or HTML line of code, which element is represented in the web page. That's what it is going to show. Yeah, I mean, go over the documentations, read, and this is if you want this code, I can send this also. I think most of you already have it, but I can just send it right now in the. I mean, this is very simple, but let's do the chat only. I'll send. Okay. So if you want to use this class and if you want to do something, but change the package name, class name. By now, everyone should know how to set up a project, how the class name and what is the subs. I mean, if class name is different from what I have used, if the package name is different, or the main method is required, and all those things. Now everyone should know that now. I mean, at least because we practice multiple times.
Kind of look familiar, but more.
Yeah, that's fine. And then import also explain how what are the imports and stuff. So these are all the basics items you have to remember now. And anything question on this line code what I wrote today? Any question on this? So practice, go over the document, and we'll talk more about it today. Okay, tomorrow, and please go over all the necessary documents that I uploaded or asked you to read, because I would not be able to go over each and every, right? And I can go over it, but that will consume, like for the interface, I went over the whole lecture. And today, mainly we talked about interface and the webinar. So similarly, if I go each and every topic, it will take much longer. If you read and comes once, if you read or at least understand, practice through, and in the class, it will be much easier. Like, some things like today, Sushmita, as you said, I went over it. Now it became more clear to me what is the interface, how I use and stuff. So please do that. For every lecture, or whenever I have a reading material that is somewhat related to the new course also. So that's very important to read every week and go over all the information that I post in the lecture or in the week by week. And also there are certain things I may have posted a little earlier. Like, maybe you don't have to go to the 10th week. If you look at the 9th one, 8th one, so maybe 7th one, there are many conditions. which we have to, which are, because now everything is collectiveness, okay? That is what you have to remember. It's not that, oh, I studied something in the how to create a test case. I went over here. I didn't know what is the test case, example of test case. There's already an example of test case. When I talk about what is a test case, everybody should know what is a test case and what is the test suite and what test case contains of. Everyone should remember that, because I talked today that what is my test case and what I'm automating. So everyone should remember that whenever, because this is collectiveness. Everything we teach till now is the collective of all the information that we talked about earlier. So some of the information may be week 7, some may be week 8, some may be week 9, 10, so 11. All those are collectiveness, okay? And my tomorrow's lecture will be even collectiveness. So go over it, read over it, look into this, and practice and practice. Anything else? Anyone want to add or? Okay. All right, then I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to end the lecture for today. And please let me know, if you have any other question tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks.